What if the most potent form of attraction was not born of superficial charm, but forged in the quiet crucible of an unshakable inner core? What if resilience was not a trait you were born with, but a daily craft, a deliberate habit of strength? The Stoics knew this truth, that the path to becoming a truly attractive, resilient, high-value man is an internal one. 10 Stoicism Habits Build Attractive, Resilient, High-Value Men, compiled and published by Stoic Ruler. Lesson 1. Choose suffering, build strength. Imagine a raw, unformed block of marble, holding within it the potential for a magnificent sculpture. Yet, this potential can only be unleashed through the sculptor's chisel, through the deliberate, often painful process of chipping away all that is superfluous to reveal the strength and beauty within. We, in our raw state, are this block of marble. The inner conflict is our deep primal instinct to avoid all forms of discomfort, all manifestations of suffering. We seek comfort, ease, and the path of least resistance. The problem is that a life dedicated solely to the avoidance of hardship is a life that produces not strength, but profound weakness. We become like unchiseled marble, amorphous, undefined, and fragile, easily shattered by the inevitable blows of life. The pain is a quiet but persistent sense of inadequacy, a fear that we lack the inner fortitude to meet life's challenges. The transformative solution lies in a radical reorientation of our relationship with discomfort. It is the embrace of the Stoic principle of voluntary hardship. The core idea is that strength, like the sculpture, is not found, but forged. It is built through the deliberate and conscious choice to engage with manageable forms of suffering, to willingly step into the chisel's path. This is not masochism, it is strategic self-sculpting. By choosing our hardships, we inoculate ourselves against the fear of involuntary ones, and we build the very resilience that makes us not only strong, but deeply attractive. To begin this process of self-forging, you must integrate small, deliberate acts of chosen suffering into the fabric of your daily life. This could mean embracing the shock of a cold shower each morning, pushing your body through one more repetition at the gym when your muscles scream for rest, or choosing to fast intermittently despite the pangs of hunger. It could mean deliberately facing a small fear you have been avoiding, or engaging in a difficult but necessary task. Each act is a tap of the chisel, chipping away at your weakness, revealing the strong, resilient form within. The benefit of this practice is the cultivation of an unshakable inner toughness and a quiet, profound confidence. You will develop a physical, mental, and emotional resilience that not only prepares you for adversity, but also radiates an undeniable aura of strength. The positive transformation is from being the soft, unformed marble to becoming the magnificent, resilient sculpture, admired not for its comfort, but for its clearly defined strength. Your call to action is to choose your chisel for today. What one small, voluntary hardship will you embrace to begin sculpting the stronger version of yourself? This is the continuous journey of choosing your suffering to build your strength. This inner strength, once forged, becomes the foundation from which you can begin to shape your experience of the world itself. Our next lesson delves into the profound Stoic skill of bending reality to your will. To continue this journey of forging your inner power, please subscribe to Stoic Ruler and like this video. Lesson 2. Bend reality to your will. Imagine a master sailor navigating a vast, unpredictable ocean. He cannot control the wind's direction, nor can he command the waves to be still. To attempt to do so would be madness, a futile battle against the forces of nature. Yet this sailor is not a passive victim of the elements. With profound skill, he expertly adjusts his sails, using the very power of the wind, no matter its direction, to guide his vessel toward his chosen destination. The inner conflict we face is the pervasive feeling of being a victim of circumstance, tossed about by the winds of fortune, believing that reality is a fixed, external force that dictates our happiness and success. The problem is that this belief leads to a state of passivity, resentment, and learned helplessness. We feel powerless because we are trying to control the wind. The pain is a life lived at the mercy of external events, a constant feeling of being off course and out of command. The transformative solution is to become the master sailor of your own mind. It is the embrace of the profound Stoic understanding that while we cannot always control external events, we have absolute power over our internal interpretation of those events, our judgments. The core idea central to Stoic philosophy is that it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. By mastering these opinions, by consciously choosing the judgments that empower us, we effectively bend our experience of reality to align with our will. We cannot change the wind, but we can always choose how to set our sails. To begin harnessing this power, you must cultivate the practice of cognitive reappraisal. When faced with an external event or reality that you find undesirable or stressful, pause before you react. Intercept your automatic, negative judgment about the situation. Then, consciously and deliberately ask yourself, is this interpretation the absolute truth, or is it just one possible story? Is this judgment serving me or disempowering me? How could a Stoic sage, someone like Marcus Aurelius, choose to interpret this exact same event in a way that fosters resilience and purposeful action? This is the act of adjusting your sails. The benefit of this practice is a radical shift from a sense of victimhood to a sense of profound personal agency. You will discover that your inner state is no longer a slave to your outer world. The positive transformation is from being a piece of driftwood, tossed about by the waves, to becoming the skillful captain, using every wind, fair or foul, to navigate toward your chosen harbor. You develop a magnetic resilience, an unshakable confidence that you can handle whatever life throws at you. Your motivational practice is to take one current, undesirable reality in your life. Spend 10 minutes journaling about alternative, more empowering ways to judge or interpret this situation. Feel the shift in your inner state as you adjust your sails. This is the continuous journey of becoming the master of your inner world. Bending reality to your will requires more than just mental agility. It demands a foundational principle that guides all your actions. Our next lesson explores virtue, the Stoic's sharpest and most reliable weapon. To continue learning how to captain your life, subscribe and share your thoughts below. Lesson 3. Virtue as your sharpest weapon. Imagine a legendary warrior preparing for a battle that will define his legacy. He could choose many weapons: a heavy axe for brute force, a poisoned dart for stealth, or a deceptive net for trickery. But this warrior, trained in the Stoic arts, knows that such weapons, while perhaps effective in the short term, carry a heavy price. They compromise his honor, tarnish his character, and ultimately lead to a hollow victory. Instead, he chooses his sharpest, most formidable, and most reliable weapon, the radiant, incorruptible blade of his own virtue, his commitment to wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. The inner conflict we face is the constant temptation to use the world's lesser weapons, manipulation, deceit, aggression, or shortcuts, to achieve our goals. The problem is that these weapons, while promising quick results, always backfire. They damage our relationships, erode our self-respect, and leave us with a victory that feels empty and unfulfilling. They are the weapons of a weak and fearful man. The transformative solution is the unwavering Stoic commitment to virtue as the sole good. It is the profound understanding that a life lived in accordance with excellence, guided by moral principle and defined by wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, is not only the most honorable path, but also the most powerful and, ultimately, the most attractive. The core idea is that virtue is not a passive, gentle quality. It is a dynamic, potent force. It is the sharpest weapon because it is internally forged, cannot be taken away, and always leads to true, lasting success, a flourishing life, and an unshakable character. A man of virtue commands respect and admiration not by demanding it, but by deserving it. To wield this weapon effectively, you must make virtue your non-negotiable standard for all actions. Before making any significant decision or taking any important action, you must pause and filter your intentions through the 4 cardinal virtues. Ask yourself, is this course of action wise, based on reason and experience? Is it just, fair to myself and others? Does it require courage, a willingness to face discomfort or risk? Is it temperate, balanced, and free from excess? If the answer to any of these is a resounding no, then the virtuous path lies elsewhere. This internal interrogation ensures that your actions are always aligned with your highest self. The benefit of this practice is the cultivation of a character that is both profoundly strong and deeply attractive. You will move through the world with a quiet confidence, an inner integrity that radiates outward. The positive transformation is from being a man who chases fleeting successes with questionable tactics to becoming a man whose very presence is a testament to enduring strength and moral authority. Your actions will have a weight and a power that those who operate without virtue can never achieve. Your call to action is to identify one of the 4 cardinal virtues that you wish to strengthen. For the next week, make that virtue the primary focus of your decision-making. This is the continuous journey of sharpening your most potent weapon. Virtue provides the moral compass for action, but action itself requires another quality: decisiveness. Our next lesson explores the Stoic imperative for purposeful action with zero hesitation. If you aspire to wield the weapon of virtue, subscribe to Stoic Ruler. Lesson 4: Purposeful action, zero hesitation. Imagine an arrow loosed from the bow of a master Stoic archer. It flies straight, true, and unwavering toward its intended mark. There is no hesitation in its flight, no wavering from its course, because the archer's aim was clear, his preparation meticulous, and his release decisive. This arrow is the ideal of Stoic action. The inner conflict we so often face is the chasm between intention and action, a space filled with the paralyzing fog of overthinking, second-guessing, and hesitation. The problem is that this hesitation, born from a fear of failure or a fear of judgment, is a thief. It steals our opportunities, diminishes our momentum, and projects an image of weakness and indecision. A man who hesitates is a man who appears unsure of his own will. The pain is the constant frustration of knowing what you should do, but finding yourself unable to do it, watching as life passes you by. The transformative solution is to cultivate the mindset of the Stoic archer. It is to develop clarity of purpose, and once that purpose is established and aligned with virtue, to launch into action with swift, decisive, and unwavering commitment. The core idea is that deliberation has its place in the aiming, but once the aim is true, action must follow without delay. The Stoics understood that the world rewards not contemplation alone, but purposeful action. Zero hesitation does not mean recklessness. It means that once the virtuous and rational path is clear, there is no longer any room for the corrosive acid of doubt to eat away at your resolve. To build this habit of decisive action, you must first ensure your aim is true by aligning your purpose with virtue, as discussed in our previous lesson. Once you have this clarity, you must cultivate a bias for action. This means consciously overriding the tendency to procrastinate or endlessly analyze. Practice making small decisions quickly. If you have deliberated on a minor choice for more than a few minutes, force yourself to decide and move on. For larger actions, once your rational mind has given its assent, take the first physical step immediately, no matter how small. This breaks the inertia of hesitation and builds momentum. The benefit of this practice is a dramatic increase in your effectiveness and a powerful projection of confidence. You will become a man who gets things done, a man whose intentions are swiftly translated into reality. The positive transformation is from being a person trapped in the paralysis of analysis to becoming a force of nature, moving through the world with purpose and decisiveness. This is inherently attractive. Your motivational practice is to identify one small action you have been hesitating on. Once you reconfirm it is a virtuous path, commit to taking the first step within the next hour. Feel the power of zero hesitation. This is the continuous journey of becoming the arrow in flight. This kind of decisive action will inevitably encounter obstacles and setbacks. Life will test your resolve. Our next lesson explores how to forge unshakable resilience in the very fires of these challenges. To learn how to act with Stoic decisiveness, like this video and join our community. Lesson 5. Forge resilience in life's fire. Imagine a blacksmith's forge. Raw, unrefined iron is thrust into the heart of a blazing fire. It is heated until it glows, then dragged onto the anvil and hammered relentlessly. It is plunged into water, hissing and steaming. only to be returned to the fire and the hammer again and again. This violent, painful process is not destructive. It is transformative. Through this ordeal of fire and force, the soft, brittle iron is purified, strengthened, and tempered into resilient, unyielding steel. The inner conflict we face is our natural aversion to this fire. We crave an easy life, a path free from adversity, setbacks, and failures. The problem is that by attempting to avoid life's inevitable fires, we prevent ourselves from ever being forged. We remain like the soft iron, easily bent, quickly broken, and lacking the deep, resilient strength that defines a high-value man. The pain is the terrifying realization when true crisis hits that we are utterly unprepared. The transformative solution is to change our entire relationship with adversity. It is to see every challenge, every setback, every failure not as a disaster to be avoided, but as an invitation to the forge. The core Stoic idea is that obstacles are not impediments to action. They are opportunities for virtue. Life's difficulties are the very fire and hammer that forge resilience, character, and strength. The man who wishes to be steel must not flee the forge. He must willingly step into it, understanding that the heat and the hammering are the only paths to true, unbreakable strength. To cultivate this resilience, you must practice the art of the post-mortem analysis after every significant challenge or setback. Instead of succumbing to despair or blame, you must approach the experience with the detached curiosity of a metallurgist studying a piece of forged steel. Ask yourself, what specific lesson did this fire teach me? How did this hammering test my limits? What impurities were burned away? How am I stronger, wiser, or more tempered because of this experience? This practice transforms painful events from mere suffering into profound learning and growth. The benefit of this mindset is the development of genuine, battle-tested resilience. You will no longer fear adversity because you will understand its transformative power. The positive transformation is from being a man who is broken by life's challenges to becoming a man who is built by them. You become the tempered steel, strong, flexible, and capable of withstanding immense pressure without losing your form. This resilience is a cornerstone of high value. Your call to action is to reflect on a recent setback. Instead of replaying the pain, perform a Stoic post-mortem. Identify one way that experience made you stronger. This is the continuous journey of being forged in life's fire. Resilience is not merely about enduring external fires, it is equally about mastering the tempests that rage within. Our next lesson teaches the Stoic art of commanding your inner storms. To continue your forging, subscribe to Stoic Ruler. Lesson 6. Command your inner storms. Imagine being the captain of a majestic sailing ship on a vast ocean. Suddenly, the skies darken, the wind howls, and a violent squall descends, tossing your vessel about like a toy. In the midst of this terrifying chaos, a foolish captain would panic, screaming at the storm or abandoning the helm. The Stoic captain, however, while acknowledging the power of the tempest, remains a pillar of calm resolve. He grips the wheel firmly, his eyes fixed on his instruments and the subtle shifts of the sea, using all his skill, reason, and experience to navigate the ship safely through the heart of the storm. The inner conflict we face is that our own emotions, our anger, fear, anxiety, and lust are like these inner storms. The problem is that when these tempests arise, we often abdicate our captaincy. We allow the storm to seize the helm, and we are driven onto the rocks of poor decisions, damaged relationships, and profound personal regret. The pain is the feeling of being a slave to our own passions, our lives dictated by the unpredictable weather within. The transformative solution is to claim your rightful place as the captain of your soul. It is the unwavering commitment to the Stoic practice of emotional regulation. The core idea is that while we may not always control the arising of an emotion, the initial spark of the storm, we always have the power to choose our response to it. We can observe the storm without being swept away by it. We can acknowledge the wind and the waves of our feelings, but we can choose to steer our ship by the compass of reason and the rudder of virtue. This is the essence of commanding your inner storms. To develop this command, you must practice the inner weather report. When a powerful emotion begins to surge within you, pause. Instead of immediately reacting, step back mentally and become an impartial meteorologist observing a weather phenomenon. You might say to yourself, "A strong storm of anger is currently passing through my inner landscape," or "high winds of anxiety are being reported." This act of observation and labeling creates a crucial space between the feeling and your identification with it. You are the sky, not the storm. In this space, you can then consciously choose a rational, virtuous response, rather than a blind, emotional reaction. The benefit of this practice is the cultivation of profound emotional equanimity and self-mastery. You will no longer be a hostage to your moods or impulses. The positive transformation is from being a person whose life is a chaotic series of emotional shipwrecks to becoming a calm, confident captain, able to navigate any inner weather with skill and grace. This emotional composure is deeply attractive and a hallmark of a high-value man. Your motivational exercise is to choose one challenging emotion you frequently experience. The next time it arises, practice giving yourself an inner weather report. Observe it, name it, and consciously choose your response. This is the continuous journey of becoming the master of your inner seas. Commanding your inner storms requires an unwavering level of self-control, a deep commitment to personal discipline. Our next lesson explores the profound paradox of how absolute discipline leads to absolute freedom. To learn how to navigate your inner world, like this video and subscribe. Lesson 7. Absolute discipline, absolute freedom. Imagine a virtuoso musician on stage, his fingers dancing effortlessly across the strings of his instrument, producing music of breathtaking beauty and complexity. He seems to be the epitome of freedom, his creativity flowing without constraint. Yet, behind this appearance of effortless freedom lie years, even decades, of absolute, rigorous, and often grueling discipline. Countless hours spent practicing scales, mastering technique, and studying theory. The inner conflict we face is our perception of discipline as a cage, a restriction on our freedom, a tedious burden. The problem is that this misunderstanding leads us to resist the very habits and structures that would grant us the profound freedom we truly crave. A life without discipline is not a life of freedom. It is a life enslaved to every passing whim, every fleeting impulse, every external distraction. It is the life of an amateur, forever stuck playing discordant notes. The transformative solution lies in understanding the profound Stoic paradox. Absolute discipline creates absolute freedom. The core idea is that true freedom is not the absence of restraint, but the presence of self-mastery. It is the ability to direct your will, focus your energy, and govern your impulses in service of a higher purpose. Discipline is the forge in which this self-mastery is created. It is the key that unlocks the cage of your lower impulses and allows your higher self to soar. The disciplined man is free because he is the master of himself. The undisciplined man is a slave, even if he believes himself to be free. To begin cultivating this liberating discipline, you must choose one small specific area of your life and commit to applying absolute discipline to it for a defined period, such as 30 days. This could be a commitment to waking up at a precise time every day without fail. It could be a commitment to a daily exercise regimen, regardless of your mood. It could be a commitment to dedicate the first hour of your day to focused, uninterrupted work on your most important task, with no social media or distractions. The key is consistency and non-negotiability. Through this experiment, you will directly experience how the structure of discipline creates a space for greater focus, productivity, and ultimately, a profound sense of inner freedom and accomplishment. The benefit of this practice is the development of an unbreakable willpower and a focused mind. You will discover that discipline is not your enemy, but your greatest ally in the pursuit of a meaningful and masterful life. The positive transformation is from being a person who is easily swayed by momentary desires and distractions to becoming a person of immense focus and intentionality, capable of achieving extraordinary things. This disciplined self-possession is incredibly attractive. Your call to action is to choose your 30-day discipline experiment today. What one habit will you forge with absolute commitment? This is the continuous journey of earning your freedom through discipline. This powerful combination of inner mastery and disciplined outer action has a profound effect, not only on ourselves, but on how we are perceived by others. Our next lesson explores how true mastery becomes a source of magnetic attraction. Subscribe to Stoic Ruler to unlock your inner freedom. Lesson 8. Magnetic Attraction Through Mastery. Imagine a mighty ancient oak tree standing resolute in a vast field. It does not chase butterflies, nor does it loudly demand the attention of passing creatures. It simply is. Its deep roots, its strong trunk, its sprawling branches, all speak of years of silent, steady growth, of enduring storms, of mastering its own nature. And yet this quiet, self-possessed strength makes it inherently magnetic. Life gathers around it, creatures seek its shade. People marvel at its steadfast presence. It attracts, not by seeking, but by being. The inner conflict we face is the common, often frantic pursuit of attractiveness through superficial means, by chasing fleeting trends, employing manipulative tactics, or desperately seeking external validation. The problem is that this approach is inherently inauthentic and needy. It builds a fragile, outward-facing persona, and any attraction it generates is shallow and unsustainable. The pain is the exhausting effort of trying to be someone you are not, only to find yourself still feeling empty and unfulfilled. The transformative solution is to turn your focus inward toward the Stoic path of self-mastery. The core idea is that genuine, lasting attractiveness is not something you get. It is something you become. It is the natural, effortless byproduct of a life dedicated to virtue, discipline, emotional composure, resilience, and purposeful action. When a man forges an unshakable inner core, when he masters his impulses and lives by a code of honor, he develops a quiet confidence, a centered presence that is undeniably magnetic. This is not the loud charm of a performer. It is the deep, resonant hum of a well-ordered soul. To cultivate this magnetic presence, you must dedicate yourself to the principles and practices outlined in our previous lessons. Focus on choosing your suffering to build strength, on bending reality to your will by mastering your judgments, on making virtue your sharpest weapon, on acting with purpose and zero hesitation, on forging resilience in life's fire, on commanding your inner storms, and on embracing absolute discipline to achieve absolute freedom. As you do this work, you must consciously let go of the need to be attractive. Paradoxically, it is this very detachment from the outcome, this focus on internal character rather than external approval, that creates the most potent and authentic magnetism. The benefit of this approach is the development of a natural, effortless attractiveness that is rooted in who you are, not in what you do to impress others. The positive transformation is from being a man who anxiously chases external validation to becoming a man whose inner substance naturally draws respect, admiration, and genuine connection. You become the ancient oak, strong, steadfast, and inherently compelling. Your motivational practice is to review the habits we have discussed so far. Choose one that you will double down on this week, not for any external reward, but for the sake of your own character. This is the continuous journey of attracting by mastering. This isn't merely about being attractive, it's about embodying a standard of excellence. Our next lesson explores how to become the high-value standard by which others measure themselves. If you are ready to cultivate this inner magnetism, like this video and subscribe. Lesson 9. Become the high-value standard. Imagine a towering lighthouse standing firm on a rugged, storm-swept coast. It does not concern itself with the fleeting opinions of the myriad ships that pass by. It does not change its light to please one captain or dim its beam for another. It simply is a steadfast beacon of light, a reliable point of reference, an unwavering standard of guidance and strength. Its value is inherent, defined not by the approval of others, but by its own consistent, unwavering function. The inner conflict many men face is the tendency to look outward for their definition of value. We seek validation from partners, approval from peers, or recognition from society to tell us who we are and what we are worth. The problem with this externalized approach is that our sense of value becomes as fickle and unstable as the opinions of the crowd. We live in a constant state of trying to measure up to shifting, often contradictory, external standards. The pain is a life of anxious striving, never truly feeling like we are enough. The transformative solution is to stop seeking the standard and to become the standard. It is the Stoic commitment to defining and embodying your own code of high value based on immutable principles of virtue and self-mastery. The core idea is that true high value is not a status conferred by others, but a character achieved by oneself. The high-value man does not need the world to tell him he is valuable, because his worth is derived from his unwavering commitment to his principles, his discipline, his resilience, and his purposeful action. He becomes the lighthouse, and his life becomes the standard. To embody this standard, you must first clearly define your non-negotiable principles. What are the virtues you will live by, no matter the cost? What are your standards for your own behavior, your work ethic, your treatment of others? Write them down. Make them your personal constitution. Then, you must live by this code with unwavering integrity, day in and day out. Your actions, consistently aligned with your highest principles, become the silent, powerful declaration of your value. You are not trying to impress anyone. You are simply being the man you have chosen to be. The benefit of this practice is the development of an unshakable, internally sourced sense of self-worth. You are no longer buffeted by the winds of public opinion, because your anchor is set deep within your own character. The positive transformation is from being a man who anxiously seeks to meet external standards to becoming a man who is the standard, a source of inspiration and a benchmark of integrity for those around him. This is the essence of true leadership and profound attractiveness. Your call to action is to take some time today to draft your personal constitution. What are the 3 to 5 core principles that will define your high-value standard? This is the continuous journey of becoming the lighthouse. This journey of becoming the standard, of embodying all these Stoic habits, culminates in one final, crowning act of inner sovereignty. Our last lesson reveals how to formally enthrone your inner Stoic ruler. Subscribe to Stoic Ruler to complete your ascension. Lesson 10. Crown your inner Stoic ruler. Imagine a prince who has journeyed through distant lands, faced perilous trials, battled inner demons, and forged his character in the crucible of adversity. He has learned the lessons of strength, wisdom, virtue, and discipline. Now he returns to his kingdom, not as the callow youth who left, but as a seasoned, worthy leader. With quiet confidence and profound self-possession, he walks to the throne, takes up the crown, and places it upon his own head. This is the final act of the Stoic journey. The inner conflict that defines our human experience is the lifelong struggle between our lower, impulsive, reactive self and our higher, rational, virtuous self. The problem is that for many, the throne of the inner kingdom remains empty, or worse, is occupied by the unruly mob of our fears, desires, and unexamined emotions. This leads to a life of inner chaos, inconsistency, and regret. The transformative solution is the conscious, deliberate, and definitive enthronement of your hegemonicon, your rational, virtuous, ruling faculty, as the absolute and undisputed sovereign of your inner world. The core idea is that you are the rightful king of your own mind. The Stoics believe that our reason, when aligned with virtue, is our divine spark, our connection to the rational order of the cosmos. To crown this inner ruler is to commit to living a life guided by your highest wisdom, your deepest principles, and your noblest aspirations. It is the ultimate declaration of self-mastery. To perform this coronation and make it a living reality, you can institute a daily ritual of enthronement. Each morning, perhaps as you rise or during your quiet time of reflection, take a moment to consciously place your inner Stoic ruler upon the throne. You might visualize this. You might say a quiet affirmation, such as, "Today my reason and my virtue will guide all my thoughts, words, and actions. I am the calm, wise, and disciplined ruler of my own inner kingdom." This daily act reaffirms your commitment and sets the tone for a day lived with intention and sovereignty. The benefit of this practice is the attainment of a profound and enduring inner peace, a true life flowing smoothly. You will experience a sense of wholeness and integrity that comes from knowing that your life is guided by your best and highest self. The positive transformation is the ultimate one. From being a fractured individual, torn by inner conflict, to becoming an integrated, powerful, and serene sovereign of your own life. This is the culmination of all Stoic practice, the hallmark of the truly attractive, resilient, and high-value man. Your final and most important motivational practice is to perform this coronation for yourself. Today and every day, consciously choose to crown your inner Stoic ruler. This is the continuous, noble journey of living as the king of your own life. Today, we have explored 10 powerful Stoic habits that forge men of profound attractiveness, unshakable resilience, and undeniable high value. From choosing suffering to build strength to crowning your inner ruler, this is a path of continuous growth and self-mastery. Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey. If these lessons have resonated with you, please like this video, share which habit you will focus on first, and subscribe to Stoic Ruler for more wisdom on building an unconquerable life.